Hi, I'm Judge Desire for Knowledge. Thank you for joining my channel here on YouTube. Thank you all for your subscriptions and your likes and shares if you have, and if not, please do so, like and share. I want to get this around, out and about. So today on my channel is on legal matters because it's the end of the month and I always get legal matters done during that time. And so I decided to do it today, March 1st, and record it and upload it to you later. So hopefully you all will enjoy this section of the law that I chose to pick, which is employment law. Actually, it will fall under employment law. So legal matters, violence in the workplace, and what you should know. I find that very important as a part of our society and safety measures that's needed to take nowadays with all that's going on in the air, on the ground, and everywhere. So we just need to be more cautious out there and more aware. And so I decided that this is what I wanted to do for this time of my on legal matters for February, which falls on March 1st. Either way, it's good to have you, and I'm so glad you're here today. Sorry I couldn't do this live. I will pin in any information needed to contact any of the agencies I happen to mention here on this time. Believe me, this is only suggestions to be made or implemented on your work, at your workplace, or wherever this may contained for you be contained for you. In other words, some people don't work for employers. Some people are employers, self-employed. It could be anyone, cab drivers, Ubers. There's always workplace violence everywhere. So this is not just one specific facility, or it's a general workplace violence and domestic violence, all condensed into one area because it can spill out to the workplace as well. So, or if you're an employer, self-employed, it can also affect you as well if someone brings their direct threat of violence into your establishment or into your cab or whatever the case may be. So I found this very important. That these are just suggestions. I'm in no way a lawyer, nor am I a judge yet. And but I have the background and I'm working with them side by side. So, and it's a beautiful thing. But you also have experiences that you want to share with other people. And that's what I choose to do here on my channel. So please enjoy, like, and share. And please subscribe if you can. If not, just like and share is not, it's free. It shouldn't take much to do that. And anyway, getting back to the show on legal matters, workplace violence has been around, unfortunately, for years. Workers against employers, workers against workers, etc., etc. It's an act of violence, harassment, and intimidation that happens at work and sometimes outside of work. It can actually happen somewhere else and come into the workplace too. I wanted to add that. It can also be verbal abuse, physical assaults, and in some cases can even lead to death of an individual or individuals. As we have seen in the past months, people are storming back into their workplace to take it out on the employer or employees. We have these malls and school violence that's going on, shooting up in schools. So this is just preparatory of things that have happened and probably yet to come, hopefully not, but to be ready just in case. Your employers should be ready, should be training you. That should be the focal point of employment, having these because we have training as well, gender like training and things like that. And this is really important. Workplace violence and stuff like that, or harassment. We have those type of trainings, and I'm hoping that all government agencies or corporations, private corp, public corp, all of you get the same. If not, then maybe you need to listen to this video and suggest it for yourself or your employer, or being self-employed, whichever one addresses you at this point in time. How do we prepare to respond to the violence before it occurs? Well, first, we must understand and recognize what is going on in our workplace environment each day. I will display from past work experience violence to social media as well, and the warning signs that to look for in a person who is most likely to explode. Sometimes people that explode, that's just their anger, but sometimes it can get out of hand. So we got to know when it's appropriate to address that or just leave it. There are two types the quiet person and the overzealous person. And here are some traits I looked at and I noticed that can potentially become a violent person in the workplace. A person who is antisocial. Not everyone has to socialize, but I mean, not even a hello or anything can sometimes hold these traits. A person who believes they are always right. No one can tell them they're wrong in anything. They do not bow to suggestions. They're right. Another one is a person who lacks control, which you cannot control person, or they don't like to be controlled, which is my number 4, a person who doesn't like to be controlled by their superiors. And when I say controlled, no one likes to be controlled, but when you're hired for a job and your boss says you need to go do that, some people will look at that as control. Oh, of course, because you're not working self-employment, you're not on your own, so basically you are under the control of the matrix, your superiors, the government, the corporation, the whatever you want to call it today. And so a lot of people are getting, like when COVID happened and all of that, as an example, a lot of people were upset that they had to be forced to do this and forced to do that. And that's a part of control, can get to you mentally after a while. A person who is easily irritated and explodes when angry is also another thing to look out when you're working around individuals at work, outside of work. If you're employed, self-employed, your surroundings or whatever type of self-employment you may do, taxi drivers, Ubers and things like that are the ones that need to actually look within their vicinity, wherever they're establishing or their routes are, to make sure that if you're in a bad neighborhood, you're not going to pick up over there, and you should actually have people call you first, get the information needed, and therefore. Signs of behavioral changes. So sometimes you can like people and they're not antisociable, but their behaviors start to change. So these are the signs of behavioral changes: anger, outburst, rage, and then there's depression. The anger is outburst and rage. And then depression is hopelessness or despondent. When someone gets into that sense of mind, you got to start listening to what they're saying and watching their body movements, and it's sad that we have to do all this, but it's for your own good, to be aware of your surroundings. Paranoid, thinking everyone is out to get you. We have a lot of them, not necessarily are all of them dangerous, but the majority, it is something to look at. Personality changes, mood swings, or profound personality changes. Those are things that can happen hormonally, but at the same time, there's things that happen in life that can drastically change people's behavior. Aggressive behavior, such as throwing objects, slamming doors, or clenched fists, is another one where we have to be careful of people that do that, because they rage. They may need to take a workshop class. Maybe you could give them training in that. I guess that's the way you can help those type of people before it gets out of hand. Once you see it, you suggest them to go to training. Well, their supervisor should, because that's the one in control of that. Well, not in control, but responsible for that person. And so all managerials and supervisors are definitely responsible for what happens in their work environment. I should say it's like the captain on the ship. You're responsible for what happens on that ship. You're a pilot. You're responsible for what happens on that airplane. So with the aggressive behavior being said, now let's look at the reasons why one would be violent at the workplace. Okay, because there's several reasons people bring this to the workplace, and one of them is loss of employment. To get fired or laid off, to be relieved from a position without reason, and sometimes with reason, or just laid off unexpectedly, can cause reasons one would want to come back and retaliate to retaliate. Disagreements, range from arguments from employer, co-workers, etc. Then you have the domestic violence, where spouses bring their issues to the workplace, which we have seen in past years, where husbands and wives, or vice versa, comes into the workplace with and spill it out there, and sometimes it doesn't end up good. Other innocent people are being put in there and not needing to be a part of it, and so these are the things we have to look at that can affect our work environment place as well. Like, for instance, the healthcare workers, they have a lot to deal with because they get mental patients and sick patients, and all of them are not happy with themselves at that time, and at any moment anything can happen there. Love entanglements, relationships created between co-workers and superiors, or co-workers and co-workers, or their peers. This is why I say it's not really a good thing to have a relationship on the job or work romance, because if things don't work out, things could lead to something else depending on the person and the individual, and so on. Any demotions, losing a position gained, is also another way of someone that you would need to be careful of, that plays like it's okay that they lost their position. They're still working, but they lost an amount of money. People lose either money or some other area that they may have wanted to be in. It doesn't have to be money all the time, or whatever it is, it meant something to them. So a demotion is not easy to take either. And disciplinary action, when an employer writes you up for an action done at work that you're either involved in or not involved in, it doesn't matter. You usually are being it's usually being designed for you to either be fired or resign. So that can take a toll on someone as well, especially if it's not true. So those are some of the things that, and I only brought some of the stuff to the table. If you have any, I will do a part 2 in the future on this subject, if you like it. How to respond to workplace violence. Okay, so observe the actions and behavior of the person, just like I said, the signs I just mentioned, and report concerns to your supervisor or employer, both the same. Sometimes they're called employers, sometimes supervisor, and document the behaviors if you can. Now, we're not talking about go take camera shots at them. If you want to, and you're documenting what you see or video, please don't upload it to social media and cause a rage in that person for taking it out on you later on and everyone around you. So, with social media nowadays, people tend to document by camera instead of helping other people out. By video instead of helping the people out. You see them, it's a fire. They're taping a fire instead of getting out. Call 911. We know you can't do much. Do something first, and then you can report it to Citizen or whatever app that you have. Put it up there so people can know. But just to do it on TikTok and stuff like that, just because you need followers, this is shameless. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, make your own content. Don't use people's sufferings for it. These are the people that are usually jealous when other creators can come about and create, and they won't like your YouTube channel. They won't do this because they can't do it, or if they could, they choose not to. That's you. Be happy for those that can and want to. Be happy for those that want to give the message out and you don't. All right. Everyone has their way of giving out a message through a song, through music, through writing, through YouTube, but using other people's content to get you followers is the worst thing I've ever seen. Try to help that person instead of videotaping it. And now off to the next. All right. So we move on with the document the behaviors. I just explained why not to do it via social media. Thank you. What to do if found in a violent situation at work. So as we do in the court system and in most government agencies, we are told to, and this might sound funny to you, but these are the 3 things we're taught to do. First is run out of the building to an office or a closet, somewhere. Just run, to another outside place, office, or outside, anywhere outside the facility if possible. 2 would be hide. because if you can't run, you gotta hide in a space where you cannot be harmed. You shielding yourself from whatever type of weapons could be utilized at that time. So you got to find a place where you won't be harmed by that weapon or whatever is being utilized to harm and bring violence to the workplace. And the next one is fight. So stand up for yourself only if absolutely necessary, because if you found in a position where now you have to fight, that's what you're going to have to do, and just pray that you make it through. Some people play dead. I don't know whatever comes to mind for you, but we're taught 1, 2, and 3, run, hide, and fight. Only the officers will be the ones that confront on any other things. The co-workers, the employees, I should say, an employer, unless they are peace officers, should leave and run. Whether it's a school, whether it's a department store, whether it's the mall, wherever it is, you run, you hide, and then you have to fight. If you have to play dead, that's on you. Whatever your circumstances is that works for you at that moment, that's what you got to do. I am not a counselor. I try to be a peer counselor. I try to help you all out here with the little bit of experience in this that I have. The facts remain as common sense. People don't talk about things that make sense anymore. So that's what I want to do on my channel, to make sure that we are covering things that really matter and not stuff that do not matter that much, And you would know what that is, right? Because for some people, this doesn't matter until it happens to them. Hopefully not. People, like I said, run, hide, and fight, and which is really important for you to figure out which one. Because like I said, I'm not a counselor, psychologist, or any of the above. I'm just giving my 2 cents to something that's important, because the public needs to hear it, and workers need to hear it, and people in general. People most likely are at risk. The ones that most likely at risk with this violence in the workplace are people who exchange money with the public, delivery or cab drivers, like I stated, Ubers and stuff like that, the ride share community drivers, healthcare professionals, as I stated, public service workers like us in the government, private workers as well, customer service, period. You're giving a service to others. You're in the lion's not dead in the mouth of the lion at this point, because you have to do the work, but it also is a risk at all times. Law enforcement is also most likely to be at risk. Working with volatile, unstable people, working alone or in isolation from other workers, and where alcohol is served, can also be a potential for violence. Now, I just want to say, just like the healthcare system, we work in an environment where people aren't happy about judicial decisions made. So that also is why we have life insurances on all of us. And I hope your jobs too. I hope we never need it, but not in this extent, but when we do, there's a reason why. All right. And so you should ask your employer the same. Are you all have insurance, life insurance, or anything, if God forbid anything happened? Because when you work with people that are not happy, and we've had many bomb threats in about 3 to 4 of the courthouses I've worked in, because I transfer out in promotions, or I just want to know a different part of the law. So I like that. I don't like steady and just sitting there in one place doing the same thing, repetitive stuff every day. Excuse me. I like a change, and I like the law part, legal aspect, so I stay there. But I change, and so with those changes, you notice different areas, different people, different attitudes and stuff like that. So when you say that unstable people, it depends on what part of the law. Like, we have matrimony is one of the highest risks, family law, criminal law, traffic. We have everything, civil law, people suing each other, and a lot of others that can become dangerous. But believe it or not, matrimony court is actually matrimonial law is actually the hardest one. From what I have seen in the courts. How employers identify with how to handle and how to identify situations that they to protect their employees is through ongoing staff training and prevention programs. By increasing the awareness of workplace violence, we can reduce the potential of workplace violence from occurring, or at least for getting to a place where one is trained and able to handle the situation before it becomes violent is very crucial. Now, we're not taught this, so unexpectedly sometimes whether it's school environment, like I said, any public environment, we're not ready for it because we don't have the proper training. So now I feel in the year of 2025 that our employers should get up, start training us on the violence, and start letting us see how we can do what we can do to not have these things occur at our workplace. You know what I mean? And so for one, there's an OSHA, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, where you can file a complaint if a situation is becoming violent or it was overseen by your bosses or something and you feel like you have a claim. You can check their website out, OSHA, OSHA. It's considered Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They'll be able to help, and they do have training on workplace violence. Other federal agencies are United States Department of Health and Human Services, and there's the United States Office of Personnel Management, OPM. The other one is HHS. They have guidance materials specifically to train employers and employees, sharing their expertise on preventing violence in the workplace as well. So with that, that's the federal agencies. And at your state and local level agencies, New York State Department of Labor, you can file a complaint with them as well, whether your employer is not taking the initiative to give you the right protection, or they're harassing, or whatever the case may be in this case, where it can become violent. You can contact them and also file a complaint with them, Public Employee Safety and Health Bureau, which is called PESH, and or the Mayor's Office to End Domestic and Gender-Based Violence develops policies and trainings as well to support employees experiencing domestic and gender-based violence. So like I said, this can come out into the workplace. So we got to start using what is it that is getting people angry and why are they using their violence at work. So these are the type of things that start from all different type of reasons. And so don't think that domestic and gender-based violence doesn't affect us all. Yes, it does. These agencies provide the resources on how to prevent the violence in the workplace, and you can also file and report workplace violence to the PESH office, all right, by phone. And that, I believe, is spelled PHESH or PESH. Let me see. I'll go back. Public Employee, PESH. Okay. PESH. PESH. Public Employee Safety and Health Bureau. All right. You can contact them, email, or by calling, by office. You can go to their office, or by phone, email, and you can call them at 844-SAFE, New York State, with NYS. That's what that is. Or 844-723-3697. And with that being said, and everything that's going on, I might do a part 2. This is such a lot of information was out there for me to get to, but I wanted to give basics and start off like that. In the future, I most likely will do a part 2, so look out for that. I also have other stuff on legal matters as well. On my videos of 200, I have over 250 different ones. But legal matters, I believe I have 14 or 15 of those up already, and because they're done once a month. And so with that being said, if you need any of these links, please let me know. I'm going to try to put it in my comments, description, or community post. If you see something in the workplace that can or may lead to violence, say something about it. Verbal threats can also be reported because then they become initiated later on. If an employee is behaving violently, then you know what to do. Call 911. And with that being said, this is Judge Desire for Knowledge. Thank you for joining me on Legal Matters today. I will have a new subject next month. Join me on Know Your Truth Real Talk next Saturday, live most likely, unless I have an event. I'm getting back on It's Out and About Travels. I have another one called my Comedy Bench sessions as well that just started. You could go check that. And Out and About Travels will be coming up soon, as well as, if I can tape it without copyright, I will do my events more. But it's always some music in the background, whether we're dancing or not out here. There's always beautiful music. So I try my best to do the travel part as much as I can. And it is what it is. Shorts and my grilling shorts will be coming up shortly, because this is March. Happy March and goodbye February. Thankful that we made it here. All of you, thank you for joining me, Judge Desire for Knowledge. I really and truly appreciate each and every one of you. I hope to see you all next week, Saturday, for Know Your Truth Real Talk. It should be really exciting subject. I have a few added to the ones I already have, because I get ideas and content when I'm out and about. And so I feel like, wow, this would be good content for Know Your Truth Real Talk. So what I do is I try to go live so that you all can, counteract with me or have that dialogue. So with that being said, right here with the truth and nothing but the truth on Legal Matters with me, Judge Desire for Knowledge, is adjourned. Thank you and ciao. Don't forget to like and share. I was going to say ciao. But thanks for your time. Ciao.